Hello folks, my name is Rick and I've been wanting to start a book channel or a booktube channel for some time, but I had to buy my 100 books first since I heard about the 100 book challenge, which I did. I finally bought my 100th book, so now I can start. So here we are. And now I don't know what to say. I can start off by talking about a book that I did want to make my first video on, and that is The Horse is Dead. It's a book you can't find anymore. It's one I found when I was stationed in Iceland. And on the blurb it had Jack Benny, who said, "This is the funniest book I've ever read." So I had to buy it. And I laughed all the way through it. And then I gave it to my new wife. And she brought it back to me and said, "I can't read that. This poor guy is just suffering too much." And I said, "No, that's not the way you're supposed to read this. This is a book that's meant to be funny. So change your mind about it and then read it." And she did the same thing. She laughed all the way through it then. Well, like I said, you can't find this book anymore. Or you can, but the price is so high that there's no way that you can afford it. It used to be on Kindle, and I sent Michael K. Vaughan a copy of it. I never heard back. I doubt that he's even read it. But I wonder, I'll be honest with you, I wonder now if the newer generation would understand the unique humor that this has. The author is Robert Klein, who was the man behind the story in the movie called Weekend at Bernie's, which was another dark humor story. So if you've ever seen that movie, you kind of have an idea what this book is like. But I'm not going to talk about that book anymore because, like I said, I don't think the new generation would accept it even if it were available. And that might be why it's not on Amazon's Kindle anymore, because it looks like they just took all of his books out of the Kindle realm. Which is sad, because we need humor and we need to learn to laugh at ourselves again. So what I'll do, I will talk about, I have a bunch of books here. I'll talk about well, I don't know how to start this. I don't know whether to say I'm going to talk about what happened when I was about 6, but I guess I can start there. When I was about 6, my uncle had comic books available to him. I couldn't read, but the pictures to me were the things that I looked at. And one of the comic books is a story that's included in this, which is from the horror comics of way back when, before the comic code. And they were the books, the comic books that brought about the comics code. And the particular story that I remember being a child was this one by Jack Cole. Now this is the comic book version, and like I said, I couldn't read when I was 6, but the pictures scared me to death. and I loved them. But I had nightmares, and my family took them away from me and gave my uncle a heck of a lecture because he caused all these nightmares of their child. Any rate, Jack Cole, who was the author of, I guess he had to rewrite the story to put it into a comic book form, but he was also the man who was responsible for Plastic Man. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that particular character or not, but I loved Plastic Man. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to through all this is that story was taken from one that was written by a man named Henry Kuttner. And if I can find it in this book, I know it's in here because I saw it. And that story by Kuttner was The Graveyard Rats, the first short story in this collection. And this collection comes in this book. It's a 2-volume set. And Kuttner wrote a good story. And it's one that's, ever since I was able to read and came upon this and realized that that's where that story came from, I read this story and it stayed with me forever. A good story, a good writer. And later, when I was in high school, a friend of mine gave me a stack of books, all of them sci-fi, I believe. And this was one of those. Another Kuttner story. So, I'm kind of disappointed in my first video because I don't really have much more to say than that. But I'll try to be better at it next time. I just wanted to get my first video out there to let you know that I'm going to give this a shot. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it or not, but I have a stack of books behind me, a stack of books over there, more back there, front room and the back room. So I'll try to be better at this. I do have a lot of books that have meant a lot to me in my lifetime. And that particular, well, those particular books have had some meaning. I'm sorry that nobody will be able to find that book, The Horse is Dead by Robert Klein. But if you can, it's very good. And it'll help you to learn to laugh. And to laugh at all the silly things that we do as humans. Laugh at yourself. As for me, I'm going to go find a book that I can talk about with more content than this. But it's my first one. Don't be too critical. I got a ways to go. But I'll learn. And I hope you'll watch. Take care of yourselves. I'll say God bless till the next time. Bye-bye.